If you like to read, if you like to think, if you like to see the world differently, grab yourself a book, give the show a listen. Purple Lit Nerd gonna show you what you're missing.
Welcome to the Purple Lit Nerd podcast for March the 31st, 2018. Holy crap, we're already at the end of March. Wow. I am your host, the amazingly adorable and easily baffled by the concept of time, Rebecca Thistle, podcasting to you live-ish from my kitchen/dining room table in my apartment, which I call Jeffrey Thistlework, which is an awesome pun. I don't care if it sounds clunky and verbose. Anyways, so before I go into this show, as I have done for the past 4 shows, I think I did it for all 4 shows, I'm issuing a trigger warning, okay? We're talking about The Handmaid's Tale, and this is a novel that involves a lot of very disturbing themes, like state-sanctioned rape and oppression and abuse of women. It can be very disturbing, and if you're sensitive to topics like that, I get it. I don't judge. I've had a really hard time doing this show, whether you can tell it from my tone of voice or not. I've had a really hard time doing this show this entire month, but it's actually been kind of cathartic. But it may not be cathartic for you, and I understand that. So, come back next week. We're going to start talking about sonnets. Ooh, did I just spoil something? I don't know. Maybe we're not. Maybe I'll change my mind in the next week and go, no, I don't want to do that. Anyways, so trigger warning. So, this week's show, I want to talk about, you know, when you talk about a book like The Handmaid's Tale, or any book that involves oppression of any kind, the topic of freedom always comes up. Last month, when I talked about The Help, I talked about freedom through speech and the sort of liberation that comes with telling your personal truth. I mean, there's always backlash, of course, but there's a certain personal freedom of getting it off your chest. And there's a little bit of a theme of freedom through speech in The Handmaid's Tale, but I think the biggest freedom theme in The Handmaid's Tale is this, I guess, like, conflict between freedom to and freedom from. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about that today, even though it makes me shake my fist in anger every time I think about it for too long. So this may be a relatively short show, or I may have to pause. So, anyways, so in The Handmaid's Tale, we often see in conversations that Offred has with the commander, and in conversations or lectures that Offred relates from her time at the Red Center from the aunts, is that in this new Republic of Gilead, women are now free from... Oh, I made a list. Oh, yeah, you best believe I made a list. They're now free from objectification for their bodies, which I'll get into that in a second. exploitation, i.e. they're not being put in porn anymore. And they're free from assault. They can now walk the streets without fear of being raped. And one that didn't really get brought up in the book, in the novel, but got brought up in the show, and I went, that really should have been in the novel. Thanks, Maggie Attwood. I don't know if she likes to be called Maggie. I'm going to call her that. Thanks, Mags. You should have put that in the book. But, hey, at least it got out there. Anyways, there was a point in the show where Offred and Offglen 2.0, because they replaced the original Offglen, they're walking home one day, and Offglen stops her because she can tell Offred is getting in shenanigans. Anyways, and Offglen stops her, and she's like, look, you're not gonna fuck this up for me. And I mean, I'm paraphrasing, of course. She says, you're not gonna fuck this up for me. However long ago I was living on the streets, I was whoring myself out for crack, and now I have a roof over my head and food in my stomach and people who treat me well. So you're not gonna fuck this up with your rebelliousness and Mayday bullshit. Yeah, and so that's another thing that there's freedom from. These handmaids are now free from being afraid of living on the streets. I was just thinking, they're free from having to worry about maintaining their own money and their own household. They're free from having to worry their pretty little heads about anything other than their biological purpose, which is to push out babies. But I am trying to be so objective about this. I really am. Because this is, there's many ways to interpret it, and everybody has different opinions and all that, but it is so hard with this book. Because it's like, yes, you're free from being objectified because of what you're wearing, but now you're being objectified because of what your genitals can do. Yes, you're free from being exploited in pornography, but you're now being exploited once a month in a sick, twisted religious ceremony that's supposed to knock you up. Yes, you're free from... Let me go back to my list. Yes, you're free from being afraid of walking down the street alone because you're always going to have a shopping partner. But you're only allowed to go certain places. Yes, you're free from having to worry about your own finances, but you're not free to do anything because you don't have your own finances. You don't have a bank account. You don't have the ability to read. And so there's these freedom from things, and that was one of the things that really came up, is that the Sons of Jacob, who founded the Republic of Gilead, took a lot of the feminist rhetoric and used it as a way of creating this society and saying, well, hey, you said you didn't want to be afraid of walking down the street because of men raping you. Well, here, we'll just state sanction the rape. Sort of thing. He said, pornography is exploitation of women. All right, well, all pornography is gone and women can't read. Yay. So that's the freedom from. But it came at the sacrifice of their freedom to. Their freedom to make their own choices. Their freedom to make their own mistakes. I mean, their freedom to read. Their freedom to go where they want, when they want. And I think it was in the edition I have, you have the actual novel, The Handmaid's Tale, then you have the little transcript of the fictional symposium discussing The Handmaid's Tale. Then there's a author's note kind of thing. And then there's an essay. And in the essay, and I forget who wrote the essay, this author, whomever it was, like I said, I can't remember the name. I should have done my research before I hit the record button, right? Right. But, you know, we're down the rabbit hole. But this essay said something is this fundamental difference between Canadian culture and American culture. As American culture, our Constitution and Declaration of Independence really says life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You are free to pursue happiness. You are free to have liberty. You're free to have life. You're free to. And the Canadian Constitution, I forget what the exact wording is, but it is freedom from chaos or something like, you are allowed the freedom to live peacefully or something. So it's like freedom from something rather than freedom to something is. So, and so I think that's a really, interesting thing to think about. And I mean, every aspect of freedom comes with a downside. And this is something we see played out in political agendas, and we're not going to get into that. But everything has a downside. And everything comes at a cost. It's just how high should the cost be? And that's something to think about when reading The Handmaid's Tale, is what's the cost of freedom? And what kind of freedom do you get in return? Or are these handmaids getting in return, I should say? That's a great philosophical question. And that's really all I have to say about that. Partially because I'm starting to get really rallied up and angered. and partially because I just bought a new movie. Well, a new old movie. My favorite movie on Amazon, and I kind of want to watch it for like the 5th time in 24 hours. So that's all I have to say about that. If you would like to contact me on social media, the username to look for is PurpleBecca923. That's PurpleBecca 923. That is my username on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat. That is also my email address, purplebecca923@gmail.com. That is also, I finally just said, fuck it. purplebecca923.com is up and running. Yes! Well, I mean, it's always been up and running. I was just like, I'm going to actually, design a site. And then I was like, nah, you know what? I'm lazy. I'll just forward it to my existing site. So it's still the same site. I'm working on getting it. I haven't really been doing much with the website in general, but I'm still tweaking it this weekend. That's my job. But purplebecca923.com is the website. I know. I made it so easy for you to find me. PurpleBecca923, everything. In case you were wondering, my birthday is September 23rd. That's where the 923 comes from. Fun fact at random. So, before I do any more, because you can tell I'm upset because I'm babbling. Remember that learning can be fun and education is fresh. So go out there, create what you deserve, and fly with the penguins. Bye!